My favorite memory of scouting is probably, well, the one that first comes to mind is sleeping in a snow cave. We hiked out in deep snow and slept one evening in a snow cave. Dad went with us. We dug out our snow cave. Ronnie, Brandon, and I think Randall was there too. We all dug out different snow caves in different areas, and we all had varying levels of success, but we all were alive and awake in the morning, and in the evening, Dad and I, we would try and sleep, and then halfway through the night realize that we were slightly slanted, and well, not halfway, probably not very far into the night. We kept sliding down to one side, and we realized the importance of, I guess, a level ground that you sleep on, especially if it's ice. But other than that, I mean, it was all a good experience, and it was fun. It sticks out in my memory a lot.
Hey, BK?
Yeah, that reminds me of just like all the campouts that we did. I mean, that's one great thing about scouting is that with the emphasis on like the outdoors, it helped. I don't know. It like took me to places I wouldn't have otherwise gone. Like there was the sand dunes. We went out and like experienced that in Goblin Valley. One great campout was to, or no, it wasn't a campout, just a hike was to Calf Creek Falls. I don't even remember where that is. Somewhere in Utah.
Science?
Is it in Zion?
I don't know.
I don't remember. Some of the scout leader drove. We just got out of the car. But yeah, that was a really, really gorgeous little part of Utah that I, only went on a scout trip. And I feel like there's a lot of respect for nature that you get and respect for God's creations when you do stuff like that.
Like Zion's. Did you guys ever go to Zion's for scouts?
Zion's
Oh,
Fair?
yeah.
That was probably another one of my most favorite memories.
Yeah.
Hiking and
Zion's.
jumping down from the rivers to the rivers.
Yeah, there was a little river hike as well as a
Yeah.
waterfall that we climbed up.
Wasn't that awesome? I do remember that. That was a great trip.
Another really great opportunity. Well, the one that I thought of previous, Tom's experience reminded me of Calf Creek Falls, but the opportunity to go on the National Scout Jamboree was really singular as well because there are a lot of really great, like the Jamboree itself was really awesome. Like we got to see the president, and there were a lot of really cool activities, and it was really, really hot the whole time.
Kind of the one that I went with you too?
Were we together on that one? I don't think so, because we would have been on the same tent. And
Right, no, I
I
was too young.
tented with someone else.
Yeah.
But then we also did a tour of like U.S. history and church history sites, which that I feel like really makes the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, the birth of our country, that it's a completely different perspective when you're there. I mean, we're out here in the West, we learn about it, at school and just through movies and TV and stuff. But when you're in like it's Liberty Hall, right, in Philadelphia, where they signed and wrote the Constitution. When you're at Gettysburg and you all like are learning about that history, it's totally different. And I feel like it endowed more of a respect for those people and for those. It gave more significance to what happened. So that was really cool too.
I think a lot of the things that scouting helps you experience, like teaching you how to work and to lead. I think leadership was the biggest thing. Because on a mission, you have opportunities to either be in a leadership position, either in your companionship or over more than one companionship. And so, being able to kind of communicate with each other and to figure out what the best way to work your areas are, or how we can work together instead of just separate companionships, really helped me to figure out how to do exactly that on my mission, and just how to work hard, how to fix problems, or come up with different ideas to do different, like creative ways to work our areas and different things. And I think scouting had a lot of influence in that.
How about cutting the apron strings from Mom for a week or two? How was that?
It definitely got me used to being away from home a little bit more. I definitely left home a lot more often because of Scouts. And doing so, I got to experience a lot more different kinds of experiences.
Did you ever get homesick on a scout camp?
Oh, not on a scout trip.
Oh.
I don't think we've ever gone long enough. It was always
Yeah.
too exciting. Always too much fun
Yeah,
stuff going on.
Always too tired in the evening, I think. Just always
There you go.
full days. One thing, I was in the Air Force ROTC, and during field training is the only type of, I guess, formal training that involves all cadets from all over the nation to go to Alabama Maxwell Air Force Base. We were there for 4 weeks, and during that time I did use my, like Eddie was talking about, communication skills with scouting as well as some of my lashings, and that impressed some of my fellow cadets and my superior when we were able to use my lashings to be able to overcome this little teamwork obstacle that we were working on, and that I only knew that because we had learned it here behind the church with a bunch of logs and scout leaders and scouts. And that was really interesting to realize that that was something that was very unique and helpful that scouting brought to me.
I think one of the biggest ones is getting outside your comfort zone and doing things that
Good.
that you know, throughout the week, I wouldn't necessarily think of going and making a little ecosystem in a bottle, like for the environmental science merit badge. Right?
Yeah.
But when I did that, it was actually kind of cool. You can watch the little crickets and other things like survive in there, and hopefully.
Maybe that was an optional requirement. I don't remember having to do that.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was
I
actually
just-
kind of fun. I just observed
Yeah.
one same spot every day.
Oh, I did that. I had to do
Yeah,
that
did it too?
Yeah.
Oh.
I drew pictures of stuff I saw.
Yeah, yeah,
Which was
I did
nice.
But that's just like one example. I mean, there's all sorts of things like learning how to lash stuff together. Yeah, there's just lots that you do to get these merit badges, and lots that you do just as part of scouting that teach you skills that get you outside of yourself. And that's I feel like that's really important for people just to
You bet.
be well-rounded and like grow up well. Another thing, like the principles in the Scout Oath and the Scout Law are things that I have thought about, especially like you memorize them, you say them every time at the meetings, and being a Boy Scout and like identifying that with that, you have to follow those things in order to be honest with yourself, and I think that having like those principles be something that we always repeat, that like this is who we are, this is what we're striving to be, helps us just be on a better moral path and be on like a better like life trajectory.
When I was working on my Eagle Scout, I remember just coordinating, talking to people. And I do remember that feeling of, as an emerging scout and as an emerging young person in society, that I previously had often relied on mom and dad to make these calls to these other adults to help me with soccer or my citizenship in the world, making appointments to go to dentists or doctors, stuff like that. I remember that feeling, how weird it was to have mom start me doing that. But I remember in Scouts working with advisors and in citizenship in the world. I think I wrote a letter to a congressman, and he wrote back, and that was just really impressive to me to see that I had an idea that he thought was good and that he wanted to consider to promote in our society. And yeah, I definitely say scouting was key in helping me learn to communicate with adults.
How key was mom in helping you guys get your Eagle Merit badges?
The key.
The key?
She was very, like I said, very helpful, helping us learn how to communicate with adults and encouraging us to do these things. And a lot of encouragement came from you, Dad, as well. And that encouragement, I think, also helps us develop our relationships from father and mother to son.